Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let's wait for some people to get in here. Let's wait for some people to get in here. We still got time. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Sanity, what's going on? You're always here first, but Aiden beat you. Aiden, how you doing? How y'all doing today? Make sure you guys check in from where you're from. I think Sanity, I think you're from Australia, I think. Hey, Aiden, thanks a lot, man. We have to clean it up. It's Sunday. How you guys doing? Make sure you guys hit the likes when everybody comes in. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Are you going to talk about the Nets game? Yes, I absolutely am going to talk about the Nets game. Yes, I'm absolutely going to talk about that. Lakers, Nets, Clippers. I got a lot of stuff. Mark, good job, man. Hey, when you guys come in, make sure you hit the likes. And let's just give it a few minutes. So let's give everybody some time to come on. Usually we kind of rush this thing. So today I'm going to give everybody time. Gilbert, what's good? Gilbert, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, Ledsma? I hope I said that right. Jesse, what's good? Thanks a lot, Jesse. Thanks a lot. You got to talk about the bogus ejection. Yeah, I'm going to talk about everything. Make sure you guys hit the likes. We got a lot of stuff that I want to cover today. A lot of you guys had a lot of fun. Today we're starting a little bit later to give everybody a chance to kind of get in here because yesterday a lot of people came in kind of late. What's in the Alpha? Alpha Amelia, how you doing, man? I thought don't worry about it. Just make sure you guys, as you're coming in, say where you're from. Say where you're from. Hit the likes. Let's give everybody like 2 to 3 minutes to get in here today. Vaikai. I hope I said that nice. Okay, welcome from New Zealand. Aiden. Okay. Thank you coming in from London. Okay, we're 34 people. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Let's just wait. Let's try to wait till we get to about 50 or 60 people. We've only been live for about 2 minutes, so let's just give everybody some time. Brooklyn was good. Hydra, how you doing? How you doing, man? How you doing? Maryland. Okay, Nathan from Maryland. That's what's up. South Africa. What time is it in South Africa now? Hey, Elvis, thanks a lot, man. Thanks. We really appreciate that. Marco and I appreciate that a lot. Costa Rica, thank you. Just keep hitting the likes. Let's give everybody like 2 more minutes before we start. Kayla from Jersey, welcome. Hope you guys are doing fine. Thomas from Indonesia, wow, welcome. Yeah, we still got 2 minutes. Thank you guys so much for hitting the likes. Wow, Philippines, wow. Okay, so another person from Indonesia as well. Okay, guys, also, now that we're here, now that we're still waiting for some people to come in, so make sure you guys hit the join button if you haven't already. Some people have done it already. It's going to be a lot easier for me to respond to questions when I see it's a member on the channel. So because there's so many comments. Yesterday we had like 1,500 comments just in that live that we did yesterday. So make sure you guys hit the join button so you can join the channel so we can pick out your questions. If you guys to hit the join, just make sure you hit the $sign and join the channel so we can see where you guys are coming from to make sure you get your questions answered. Because yesterday it was a circus, man. It was a circus. So many people had so many questions. Canada. Saudi Arabia, wow. From Ivory Coast, okay. Kone, I hope I'm saying that nice. Welcome. Let's give it 30 more seconds. Make sure we get the likes. We're at 42 people. I want us to get to 50 because I got a lot of stuff I want to cover today. And yesterday we kind of rushed it. Okay, Okay, JCV was good. Tamir, how you doing? Laker Net 2022 NBA Finals. Okay, no problem. Jamaica Bolo. Jamaica, welcome, man. Welcome. Texas. Floresville, Texas. Okay, let's give it 20 more seconds and we're almost good to go. Let's give it 20 more seconds. Will you be doing a live for today's game? No, we won't. These lives these lives are just, we don't really plan these lives because we produce a lot of content. Marco and I are usually very busy with this, so we don't really plan them. We just, when the moment comes, we have content, we do it. Okay, let's give it 10 more seconds and then we'll go live and we'll get started. How did the Nets loan work? Okay, guys, so let's do it. So I think we got up close to 50 people in here. We got 46 people, 47 people. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Don't forget to hit the join button. If you want your question answered, make sure you hit the join button because there are going to be a lot of comments. Yesterday, we tried to answer as many as we could. There were like 1,000+ comments yesterday. So make sure you guys hit the likes. Make sure you join. Just hit the $sign and join so I can definitely get to your question. Okay. So let me get into this topic here today, guys. Okay, let's get into it. Because yesterday I watched that Brooklyn Nets and Lakers game. Okay. I watched that game yesterday, and there's a lot of things I want to cover today. A lot of things I want to cover today. Because that what happened yesterday really opened my eyes to some things. Now, I know a lot of people have made a lot has been made about the Nets this season. I've picked them. I've been one of the people that said that the Brooklyn Nets are the scariest team in the NBA. I think the Brooklyn Nets are the scariest team in the NBA, right? Because of the firepower of their big three. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. You have a big three. All of these guys are averaging at least, excuse me, at least 25. I just drank something here. At least 25 points per game each. That's scary. There's no team in the NBA that can do that. They're the number 2 offense in the NBA right now, scoring about 118.7 points per game. They're the number 1 field goal shooting team in the NBA, shooting about 49.3% from the field. And the number 3 NBA, number 3 team in the NBA in 3-point shooting 39% in the, from the 3. And they're the number 2 team in the Western and the Eastern Conference behind the Philadelphia 76ers, right? If we go into the stats, I see a lot of you guys are coming in. Make sure you hit the join button and hit the like button so more notifications come out so more people can get into the chat here. Now, if you look at the numbers from their big three, the big three I like to call the Avengers. I heard Marcellus Wiley the other day on Speak for Yourself. He started calling them the Avengers. I don't know where he got that from because I was the one saying that before him, but Marcellus Wallace has been calling them the Avengers. Now, if you look at the Brooklyn Nets big three, okay, first of all, let's talk about Kyrie Irving, right? Who I think is probably the most electrifying basketball player, in the NBA. Some people may say Zion Williamson, some people may say others, but I think Kyrie Irving is the best show in the NBA to watch. Okay, the guy's averaging 27.6 points per game, getting you 4.8 rebounds, 6 assists. Think about this, guys. As a 2 guard, Kyrie Irving is getting 6 assists. He's shooting 51% from the field, 40% from the 3, 90% from the free throw line. Guys, essentially, Kyrie Irving is having a 50-40-90 season. Kyrie freaking Irving, and he's also getting you 1.2 steals per game, right? Kyrie Irving ain't nothing to play with. You see some of his moves, man. It's incredible, right? There's no one player that can guard Kyrie Irving in the NBA, including Kawhi Leonard, anybody else. There's nobody you can put on Kyrie and say, stay in front of him. His handles are just too lethal. James Harden, who I believe is the best point guard in the NBA, and I think LeBron is probably the best point guard in the playoffs. James Harden is averaging 25 points per game, 8 rebounds as the point guard, and 10.9 assists, basically 11 assists per game, shooting 46% from the field, 36% from the 3, 87% from the free throw line, and oh, by the way, getting you 1.2 steals per game. And then you have Kevin Durant, who came back just yesterday. The second game that he played yesterday, he scored 28. He's averaging 28 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, and 5 assists. KD's shooting 53% from the field, 44% from the 3, and 88% from the free throw line, and also getting you 1.4 blocks per game, right? This is their big three. If you look at this big three, there's no other team in the NBA that can say they have this type of combination of talent. There's no team. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys hit the like button so we get more people in here. We're getting close to 100. Let me see. Why would you believe there? Okay, let me see. Let me just see. Make a video on the potential rotation of the playoff. Okay. I'm going to get to, you guys have a lot of questions. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. I see a lot of questions are coming in. Again, don't forget to hit the join button, guys, because it's kind of hard to pick which one I have to answer, but I'll do my best. Anyway, make sure you hit the like so we get more people in. Anyway, let me continue here with the topic, right? So I've given you guys sort of the Nets' strengths, which is their offense, right? I've talked about James Harden. I've talked about all of that stuff. However, their defense is a major problem. You guys saw the game last night. I don't know if you guys saw the game between them and the Lakers. I was barely interested in watching that game. I was tuning in and tuning out of that game. Why? Because LeBron James didn't play and Anthony Davis didn't play. So I said to myself, this game is not going to be competitive. Because why? The Lakers' 2 best players are not playing. So I expected the Brooklyn Nets to just run over the Lakers. That's what I expected. But that's not what happened. In the beginning of that game, they had Kyrie Irving and they had Kevin Durant. And what I noticed was this. Once the Lakers got an early lead on the Nets, and they kept scoring, pay attention to what I'm saying. They kept scoring. It forced the Brooklyn Nets to do one or two things to get back in the game. One, they needed to keep scoring, but two, they needed to get some stops. Once the Brooklyn Nets go down once they go down in a game, they get down 10 points, right? Usually what happens? The opposing team usually cools off. And then the Brooklyn Nets come back in a flurry, especially with their big three. But what happens when the other team doesn't stop scoring? Well, then you got to rely on your defense. And this is where problems begin for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to read you guys some of their defensive stats. And for Brooklyn Nets fans, I still think Brooklyn is the scariest team in the NBA. I'm not bashing the Brooklyn Nets here. That's not what I'm doing. But I think Brooklyn Nets fans should pay attention to some of these statistics, to some of this data, because it's quite alarming, to be quite honest with you, okay? First of all, the Brooklyn Nets are the 25th ranked defense in the NBA out of 30 teams, or 32 teams. That's horrendous, okay? They allow 114.4 points per game. That is way too high, okay? The Clippers and Lakers are much better at defense, right? The Lakers, on the other hand, for example, because I am talking about the Lakers now in this video, the Lakers are the number 2 team in the NBA, ranked number 2 team in the NBA when it comes to opponents' field goals allowed. They allow 105.8 to the Nets 114.4. Okay, the Clippers are the number 6 ranked team in the NBA, allowing 108 points per game, right? So those two teams are in the top 10 in defense. The Lakers are the number one defensive rated team in the NBA. The Clippers are number 10, right? But the Brooklyn Nets, the fact that they give up so many points on any given night is an issue. Why? There's no good reason that the Brooklyn Nets in that game against the Lakers that they couldn't get stops. The Lakers were not playing with they were not playing with LeBron or AD. You're not going to tell me that all of a sudden DeAndre Drummond turned into Shaq yesterday. They could have put a body on DeAndre Drummond and shut him down. The problem was the Nets couldn't get any stops. They couldn't. Okay. One second. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hey, Max, Matt. Hey, Max. Thanks a lot for that. Let me read some of you guys' questions here. Let me go through some of you guys' questions. KD was just so calm. Okay, let me see. But the Nets have bad interior defensive rebounding. Yes, they do, right? Let me see what else. Kyrie really is just not normal. Yeah, Kyrie is really good. I think everyone is playing. Drummond is an offensive liability. Yeah, but I don't think the Lakers are bringing in Drummond for offense, though, right? He's going to get you about 10 to 15 points per game. I think they're bringing him as a big body in defense. And really, I think the Lakers want to picked up Drummond because of what they're not getting from Marc Gasol. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Make sure you guys hit the likes. We just crossed 100. I want us to get to 150. Today, I want us to get to like 250. So make sure you guys hit the like so we get more notifications out there. Okay, let me see what else you guys. Let me see. Yeah, as far as the playoff prediction video, it's still too early. It's still too early because we're not even in May yet. Let me see. Overreacting. Okay, Kawhi is out. Okay, let me see. No Gasol. Yeah, and Kyle Kuzma didn't play in that game. Funny enough, Kyle Kuzma didn't even play in that game. That's alarming. The Brooklyn Nets should have been able to win. Okay, let me see. Last night was funny. Lakers smoked the Nets. Yes, it was, right? Because listen, there's no way the Brooklyn Nets lose that game. Now, I know in the third quarter, there was an ejection between Kyrie Irving and I think Dennis Schroeder. There was an ejection in the game. These guys got into like a scuffle on a court. I remember that. However, even given the fact that Kyrie was out of the game, they still had Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was on minute restrictions, but he was allowed to play 30 minutes in that game. That game got away from them in the fourth quarter because the Brooklyn Nets could not bring themselves to play defense. And that is a major, major problem, guys. If you can't stop anybody, and all you're relying is on your offense, what happens when your offense goes away, or you get down early in the game like they did against the Lakers? And trust me, in the playoffs, the Brooklyn Nets are not going to be playing teams at the level of the Lakers without LeBron and AD. They're going to have to be playing the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Much, much, much better teams. The Lakers last night, they're like a 500 team without their best players. So it's not like as if they're a great basketball team. They were good enough. They're good enough on some nights to win because they're such a good defensive team and they're champs, so they know how to win games. But there's no reason that the Nets should not be playing better defense. Now, let me get to the Clippers and the Lakers. Okay. And let me tell you guys why I give the Clippers and the Lakers a shot to beat the Nets. Let me give you guys a reason. And ultimately, why I think the Clippers have the best shot. But let me give you guys a reason. Okay. The Lakers and the Clippers are very good defensive teams. So the Lakers and the Clippers can get stops. The Lakers are the best team in the NBA, the number one defensive rating team with the number one defensive rating in the NBA. That means that the Lakers can get stops, and that's going to be huge in the playoffs because what wins championships? Defense and rebounding. There's a reason they went out there and got DeAndre Drummond. DeAndre Drummond is going to help them finish off their defense. You can play great defense for 23 seconds, but if you can't secure a rebound, the defense possession is not complete. DeAndre Drummond is going to help the Lakers a lot when it comes to that, right? The Clippers, too, they have a great defense as well. Now, here's why I think the Clippers have a better shot at beating the Nets than the Lakers. My only issue with the Lakers is that I don't know if the Lakers can generate enough points to win games. That's my issue. Because although you can play great defense, you still need to be able to put up some buckets. And the Clippers have the ability to do that because the Clippers are the number 6 ranked offense in the NBA, right? They're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the NBA. The Clippers they scored the 6th most points per game in the NBA. That's good enough. You don't need to be the number 1, but they are also the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league. The Clippers are making 14.5 3-pointers a game. So if the Clippers and the Nets, make sure you guys hit the like button, guys. Yeah, we need to get the likes up a little bit more. We're close to 150. Let's get it up so we get to 200 people in here. I'm trying to get as many people in here as possible. So if they were to meet in the playoffs, I think the Clippers have the proper balance. That's what I think. Are the Lakers good? Absolutely. Now, if the Lakers are going to play the best defense that they've ever played and just really blitz these guys every single game, every first quarter, get early leads and try to hold on to those leads and keep scoring to be able to stay ahead and also get stops, then they have a shot. But also, let's bear in mind this. James Harden didn't play in that game yesterday. James Harden is their best point guard. So the Nets are a different team with James Harden, more so than Kyrie or KD. I think if you have James Harden and then you have Kyrie or KD, the Nets are different because James Harden sets the table for that team, right? That's their point guard. The guy's leading the league in assists. However, James Harden is also not known for defense as well, right? He's not known for defense. So at some point in time, the Brooklyn Nets are going to need to play defense at a consistent level to advance in the playoffs. They're going to get out of the first round. Nobody's questioning that. Right, they're the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. I think if I look at the standings, if the playoffs were to start today, the Nets are going to be playing against the Boston Celtics. Now, the Boston Celtics have some young players like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker. They have some good guys, but I think all of us would expect the Brooklyn Nets to beat them. Is when they start getting into the second round. And there's another team I'm going to talk about in the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm going to surprise you guys about that. So make sure you guys hit the likes. Make sure you guys hit the likes. If you guys have any questions, because there's so many comments right here, make sure you guys join the channel so I can see it because there's too many comments to respond to. To join, just hit the $ and join the channel because there's so many comments. I'm going to try to respond to as many as I can here. Let me see. Okay, let's see some of the comments that you guys are leaving. It's all Kyrie's fault. Blame how that loss for Kyrie. Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, Gilbert. Yes, Kyrie had a role to play because he kind of allowed himself to get thrown out of the game. But at the same time, man, if you're a good defensive team, you should be able to stay in that game and hold on, or at least make it competitive. The Nets lost by 25 points yesterday. 25 points to a shorthanded Lakers team. That's inexcusable. Okay. In my opinion, Clippers should focus. Okay, I'm going to get to the Clippers in a second. I warned all Laker fans about Marc Gasol. I said he's not. Well, I think the Lakers, to Max's point, I think the Lakers understand that Marc Gasol is not the same Marc Gasol from the 2018 playoffs. I think the Lakers understand that. I think they understand it by now. Marc Gasol is not the same player, and I think that's one of the reasons why they went out there and got Andre Drummond, because Marc Gasol is not the guy right now. Andre Drummond doesn't stretch the floor the way Marc Gasol did. That's for sure. But if you look at his defensive rebounding, his ability to attack the basket, go to the basket, draw fouls, he adds a lot. He doesn't have three-point shooting, but he definitely adds a lot. Nets have a lot of centers. They have LaMarcus Aldridge. They have the young guy, and Claxton, I believe his name. They have DeAndre Jordan, who's not been playing. They got bodies. They have tall guys. Not like I said they don't have centers. It's just that they need to focus on their defense. Okay. Let me see. Kyrie and KD didn't try that game. Y'all seen how calm they were. Besides that Schroeder and Kyrie heated moment, they did not get up for that game. Now, I think there's a little bit of truth to that, right? I think when a good team sees a team that's shorthanded, human nature is to overlook them, right? Make sure you guys hit the like button, guys. Make sure you hit the likes. Let's get to 100 likes. The likes are still too low. We need to get to 100 likes. I want to get as many people in here. So make sure you guys hit the likes if you haven't, so we get more notifications out there. Now, obviously, yes. The more, sometimes you're going to overlook teams, right? Especially if they're shorthanded. However, championship teams don't really do that. They don't have mental lapses. For example, let's talk about the Clippers. Clippers the other night, they just came off a great win, beating the Phoenix Suns, and then I think the following night they had to play the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are a terrible team, right? Had the Clippers lost that game, given the fact that they're the number one three-point shooting team in the NBA, they have a lot of talent, right? If they had lost that game, that's a letdown. It means that you just overlooked your opponent because you should be able to beat that team. To me, that shows some maturity on the Clippers' part, in my opinion. That's what I think, right? But at the same time, I can understand you saying that, listen, they overlooked them because there's no LeBron and AD. I can understand it. I can see that because it's human nature. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Thank you so much for that, so we get more people in here. What do you think? This is Harold's question. Who do you want to be the champion this season? The Clippers. I want the Clippers to win. What if the Clippers face the Lakers in the playoffs? If the Clippers face the Lakers in the playoffs, first of all, I think the playoffs is all about matchups to a certain extent. I think some teams match up very well with certain teams than others do. For example, look last year in the playoffs. Last year, I believe personally that although the Clippers lost, I believe that the Lakers were better suited to beat the Denver Nuggets, right? Because the Denver Nuggets, man, let's just be honest, right? The Clippers played against the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. They played against a dominant wing, right? They have Jamal Murray, who's a point guard, two guard, whatever it is. The Clippers played against Luka Doncic. They can kind of deal with that. It's the interior big man that the Clippers had issues guarding. And that was a speciality. That was a forte. That was the Lakers' forte. That was right up their alley. The Lakers are the best interior defensive team in the NBA. When you have LeBron James, who's 6'9", Anthony Davis, who I thought should have won the Defensive Player of the Year last year, he's there. Then you have Dwight Howard, who's a three-time Defensive Player of the Year, one of the most physical big men in the NBA. And then you have JaVale McGee, who's another 7-footer. So obviously, the Lakers were going to bother Nikola Jokic because they were throwing so many bodies at him. So many great elite defenders, right? So many great elite defenders. So I think that series was a better matchup for the Lakers. Now, I think the Clippers are a better matchup for the Lakers, or are better suited to beat the Lakers. That's why I think. Because listen, although the Lakers have a lot of they're a great defensive team, you're going to have to deal with those Clippers wings, right? You're not playing. The Lakers they're the number one rated defensive team in the NBA in the regular season, because they're not seeing the Clippers every single night. You're not playing against the number one three-point shooting team in the league every single night. In a 7-game series, you will be. You need to be able to guard the three. You need to be able to put a body in front of Kawhi Leonard. You need to be able to stop Paul George. Now, obviously, some people say, well, listen, how are you going to guard Anthony Davis? Make sure you guys hit the likes. We're at 185, 86 people. Let's get it to 200. We've only been here for about 25 minutes. So let's get more people in there. Let's try to get to 250 or 300. So I think the Clippers are better suited to beat the Lakers. Now, am I saying it's going to be a short series? No. Is it going to be a 4 or 5 game series? No. I think that series goes 6 to 7 games. Right? I think it goes 6 to 7 games. But it's the matchup I really want to see. I actually want to see the Lakers and the Clippers in the first round of the playoffs, because I want to make sure, no matter what this year, if the Clippers get to the finals and they don't play the Lakers, then you know what you're going to hear? The only reason the Clippers made it to the finals is because they didn't play the Lakers. So I want these two teams to meet in the first round. Let's get it over with. Let's get it on and popping in the first round so we can settle it once and for all. Let's see what's what. I want the Lakers and the Clippers to be matched up in the first round from jump so we can see what's what. I don't want it to be something in the Western Conference Final. No. Let's get it done with right now. Let's see the two teams, the best teams in the Western Conference, go at it, because I don't want to have a repeat, right? Because a lot of Clippers fans feel like, including myself, like, listen, if they played the Lakers, they would have won. The Clippers would have won, right? Skip Bayless feels that way, but we don't truly know that. So we want to see that, and I want to see that confrontation, to be honest with you. Make sure you guys hit the join button so I can start picking out some of your comments here. Let me get to some of them here. Let me see. Let me get to some of them. Just a moment. Let me see if I can answer some more of your questions. Let me see. Kawhi is on a mission this year. I think so too. Victor from Riverside, California. What's good, Victor? What team? Okay, let me see. You beat Houston, who were on a 20-game losing streak. What does that have to do with me? If they were on a 50-game losing streak, if they've been losing for the last 2 years, what does that have to do with me? Like, I beat them. They beat them. So whether they're on a 10-game winning streak or 20-game losing streak has no bearing on it. They beat them, so it doesn't matter if they went into 10-game. Kawhi is dunking on everybody. Yeah, Kawhi just looks pretty upset. I honestly thought the Lakers got saved by their bench. Started didn't show up until specific games. Are you talking about in the playoffs or in the regular season? Okay, we're almost at 200 people. Thank you guys for hitting the likes. Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button. Okay, let me see. Real concern should be what point guards are getting minutes in the playoffs. Listen, talking about the point guards with the Clippers. Okay, I've said it before and I say it again. I think that Rajon Rondo should be the number one option as far as the point guard. Now, some people have said save him to come off the bench. Save him to come off the bench and then finish out fourth quarters. That's fine. But I think he should be the starting point guard on that team in the playoffs, because I want to make sure the Clippers are getting off on the best foot possible every single game. It doesn't need that they need to go down early in games, get their offense into a rut, and then now you're bringing in Rondo like they did against the Suns to start coming in here and trying to make magic happen. Like, I like Rondo. I trust him the most, and he's built for the playoffs, so I like Rondo. KD or Giannis? KD or Giannis? KD or Giannis? I would pick KD. Let me see. What else? Do you think the Clippers will keep Cousins? I think the Clippers are going to keep Cousins because we don't know when Serge Ibaka is coming back, right? Make sure you guys hit the likes. We're almost at 200. I don't know when Serge Ibaka is coming back. Serge Ibaka is a great player, right? He's a great player, but he hasn't been playing. He just hasn't been available. So you need an insurance policy, because if you're playing in a game and if Ivica Zubac gets into foul trouble, then what do you do, right? What do you do if you get into foul trouble? Then what do you do at that point? Now, let me get back to this thing about the Nets. There's another thing I think some of us need to pay attention to, right? There's another team in the Eastern Conference I think we need to pay attention to, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if you guys know that the Milwaukee Bucks, right, although they haven't been playing well as of late, do y'all know that the Milwaukee Bucks are still somehow the number 3 seed in the Western Conference? They have a very good record at home, but also, do y'all know that they're the number 1 scoring team in the NBA? Did you guys know that? Did y'all know that the Milwaukee Bucks are now the number one scoring team in the NBA? So my question is this to Nets fans: what happens in a series if the Milwaukee Bucks end up playing against the Brooklyn Nets and the Bucks are outscoring the Nets? What then happens if the Brooklyn Nets cannot get stops in playoff games? Do y'all think, this is a question I'm asking you guys, you can leave it in the comment section, do you guys think that the Brooklyn Nets are going to be able to defend the number one scoring team in the NBA? It used to be the Brooklyn Nets, but now it's actually the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, some people can say, wait a minute, Kevin Durant has been out of the lineup. James Harden's been in and out of the lineup. Maybe that's affecting it, but hold on. The Milwaukee Bucks can score. They do have Drew Holiday. They do have Middleton. They do have Giannis Antetokounmpo. They do have a lot of big bodies like Lopez and these guys. They do have a lot of bodies that they can throw at the Brooklyn Nets. It's not like as if this is just some chopped liver team, right? They did get better with Drew Holiday. So my question is, do you think that the Nets simply just go and play against the Bucks and just blow the doors off of them when they're the number one scoring team in the NBA? I think that's a serious question. Okay, you see, he's saying that the Nets still win. Okay, we'll see, right? You're saying they could still win. However, they got to play defense, man. Joel Embiid is not going to be a joke in the playoffs. A lot of people are not paying attention to this. Joel Embiid is a big boy. He's not going to be somebody. The Nets have nobody to deal with Joel Embiid. He's going to dominate them in the interior. He's going to get them into foul trouble. He's going to draw a lot of double teams, right? There's no individual defender that the Brooklyn Nets have that they can put on Joel Embiid. LaMarcus Aldridge is not the answer. He's not the answer. Claxton is not, he doesn't have, as Shannon Sharp says, he doesn't have enough bricks in his back pocket to deal with him. So they're going to need somebody to deal with Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons is also going to be a factor because of his ability to penetrate and what he can do in the open court. I don't think the Nets are going to have a cakewalk like a lot of people think. And also, let me just say this. They got to get healthy. We're now in April. We're heading into mid-April. The big three is not playing together. James Harden is out now, I think, for a number of games. This is serious. We're not looking in May. The playoffs are just around the corner. If the Brooklyn Nets are looking to just get to the playoffs and turn on the switch, it could possibly happen. It could possibly work maybe into the Eastern Conference Finals. But there have been other teams that have been building chemistry all season long, and that's not something we should overlook. So I think Beverly. Okay. Also, I see you guys have a lot of different questions that are kind of unrelated to the video today. So also, we created for those of you who don't know, we have a platform called Dreamerspro Max. It's a place where you can go and start basketball discussions, chat live during games. We most likely will be live tonight during tonight's game and do so many cool things, consume content that you're not going to be able to get on our channel. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check that out. We're going to link that in the description below. Get 7 days of access. Also, during the playoffs, we're going to be live pretty much every single night on the platform. But if you don't sign up before then, you won't be able to sign up unless you just sign up the regular way. So make sure you guys do that before the playoffs. I see you guys have a lot of different questions here that are not really related to the topic. So if you want to do that, you can post a topic there on Dreamerspro Max and we'll get back to you. For those of you guys who are joining now, if you haven't joined the channel, make sure you hit the join button so we can see you. Also, because I'm going to respond to your comments first, but also when you leave comments on our channel, because we get a lot of comments, I can definitely make sure I get back to you. So make sure you guys do that if you haven't done that already. Just hit the $ and join there. So let me see what else you guys are saying. Okay. Thanks for always putting the best. Hey, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate that. Let me see. The Nets have too much for the Bucks in the playoffs. The difference between the Bucks and the Nets are the Nets have championship experience. Okay, that's a good point. The Nets do have championship experience. That's a very good point. I can't argue with you on that. Let me see what else. Drummond is LA Sports Live. Okay. Drummond's who is not 100% dominated the Nets on the boards. What do you think? What do you think, Joel Embiid? Yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing, man. Like, listen, I like the Nets. I think they're very scary. I think they're the scariest team offensively. Make sure you guys hit the likes, guys. Make sure you guys keep hitting the likes so we get more notifications. Yeah, they're the scariest team for sure. But you gotta be able to get some stops. You have to. If you look at the Clippers, over the past 2 weeks, the Clippers have been a sensational defensive team. The Clippers have been a they don't even look like the same team. And to be quite honest with you, they're doing this, or they've been doing this, without Patrick Beverley and without Serge Ibaka. Kawhi Leonard has been a man possessed. Kawhi Leonard has been playing great defense. Tyronn Lue has these guys finally playing defense, and they're playing at a high level. We forget about the game that they just played against the Phoenix Suns. They held them to, I think, 103 points in that game. The Clippers, listen, this is why I think the Clippers have a shot, at least to get to the Western Conference Finals. Here's why. Number one, the Clippers are 6-2 against all the top teams in the Western Conference. 6-2. They beat the Lakers twice, a healthy Lakers and an unhealthy Lakers. They've gone 1-1 with the Utah Jazz, who have the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They've beaten the Phoenix Suns twice already this season. Who's the other team? The Denver Nuggets. They've gone 1-1. They beat them on Christmas Day, and then they lost to them the other night. So it's 1-1. Those are the 2 losses that they have. So they've shown they can compete, and in some cases, be better than every single Western Conference team that you have out there. So the only team that a lot of us can say, okay, listen, is watch out for the Lakers. Because the Lakers, although they have the number 1 defense, they still have LeBron James and they have Anthony Davis, right? And LeBron James improves his level of play in the playoffs. I went through his numbers yesterday in the live that we did yesterday. LeBron gets better in the playoffs, but so does Kawhi Leonard. It's not like as if, it's just LeBron. So does Kawhi Leonard. So I think LeBron and Kawhi are both going to be on their A game. So that's why I think in these series, Anthony Davis and Paul George are going to be the X factors. You're going to have to see how these guys perform. Now, if Paul George is going to be shooting 50% from the 3 against the Lakers in a 7-game series, it's going to be very tough to beat the Clippers. Clippers already making 14.5 3-pointers a game. 14.5 3-pointers a game. They made at least 18 threes over the last 2 games. Now, obviously, they're going to be going against the number 1 rated defensive team. So obviously the Lakers are going to be able to rotate pretty well, deal with those 3-point shooters. Obviously the Lakers have the ability to do that. However, now you're in the playoffs, so teams are going to be able to, it comes down to coaching and schemes, right? And who can make the most adjustments. You're going to still have to deal with the Clippers. The Clippers have 9 players shooting over 40% from the 3. They have 9 players. So who are you taking away and who are you sagging off of? Who? You can't guard everybody on the court. Make sure you guys hit the likes. We're 225. Let's get it to 250. Thanks a lot. I see more people are starting to come in now. Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, post your questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer as many as I can, right? So that's something that's going to have to happen. Nick Wright recently said a few days ago that he was worried about the Clippers. Maybe they're shooting, how are you going to keep – the Clippers are shooting 42% from the 3 this season. It can't be an anomaly if they've been doing it all season long. Right? It can't be. You notice when they play Kawhi, they double team him every single time. You can't double the Clippers. Morris is shooting like 50+% from the corners. Marcus Morris Sr., I think, is the number 6 player in the NBA in 3-point shooting percentage. And he's not even their best player. Every single person in their starting lineup can shoot threes. Patrick Beverley can shoot 40% from the 3. Rajon Rondo is shooting like 38% from the 3. Paul George is shooting 40-something% from the 3. Marcus Morris Sr. is shooting over 40% from the 3. Serge Ibaka is shooting like in the high 30s. What are you going to do with this team? Then you go to the bench. Then you have Luke Kennard, who's shooting 50% from the 3. Then you have Nicholas Batum, who's shooting 40% from the 3. Then you have Terrence Mann, who can shoot threes. You have Patrick Beverley, who can shoot. Like, what are you going to do? And the Clippers are going to use that strength. A lot of people say, well, why don't they drive as much? Because they have a strength that they want to exploit, right? Because the Clippers can hit threes at such a high level, it creates all kind of problems because you got to respect the shooters, which opens up the drive. But if you're not shooting those threes, then you can't get to the drive. And it puts defenses in jeopardy, right? Now, we still have to see this showdown. We still have to see the Lakers go against the Clippers. I still want to see it. I don't want to wait till the 3rd, 4th round. Anything can happen. I want to see that in the 1st round. Let me see. Okay, let me see what else you guys have. Why does Stephen A. Smith always hate on Kawhi Leonard? I think the reason he does that is a few things. I think the reason Stephen A. Smith does that, one of them is, first of all, Stephen A. Smith seems to have a very, very large ego, right? Stephen A. Smith has a large ego. Make sure you guys hit the like button, guys. Make sure you guys are almost at 250. Keep hitting the likes. I'll stay on here for about a few more minutes and then we'll get it going. I think that Stephen A. Smith has a huge ego, right? And I think Stephen A. Smith, given the fact that he's been a part of the NBA for such a long time, you've seen him interview the biggest players, LeBron, Kobe. I think he knows Jordan and all of these different things. He's probably looking at Kawhi like, yo, who is this dude like that thinks he doesn't have to come and kiss the ring? But Kawhi Leonard seems to be one of these guys that marches to his own tunes, marches to the beat of his own drums. He's not paying attention to these guys. I think there's a part in that. Stephen A. Smith always kind of finds a roundabout way to kind of diss Kawhi, to the point where even Max Kellerman, when he was trying to say, like, if the Clippers go to the playoffs, Paul George doesn't show up and Kawhi Leonard balls out, he's like, it's Kawhi Leonard's fault. Even Max Kellerman looked at him like, what? What are you talking about? So there's something going on there that I don't understand. He talks about the fact that, Kawhi Leonard is asking people for money, asking people for houses. Like, who hasn't? What are you talking about? Why do you think Pat Riley and LeBron James didn't get along? LeBron wanted his boys to run the show. Pat Riley said, hell no. I'm the one that's wearing the big shoes in this piece. Y'all need to get the hell up out of here. And he let him walk. Pat Riley wasn't having it. LeBron tried to do that in Miami. He wasn't having it. Is this the first time that all of a sudden you're hearing players ask for things? Is this the first time? Really? Y'all didn't just hear the story about James Harden in Houston? What are we talking about? How is this breaking news? Why is it only breaking news when it comes to Kawhi Leonard? When all these other players are doing it, nobody says anything about it. So I don't get it. But anyway, I could be wrong. I'm not in the NBA. I don't know Stephen A. Smith. I don't know these guys, so I could be completely wrong. Who knows? Let me see what else you guys got. Do you know Ticket TV? Nah, I don't know who that is. They are the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. Okay. Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Let me see. I was talking crap at him. Okay. Braun and KD weak-minded. I'm not getting into that, man. Whatever. They need super teams to win. I know him. Okay. Media hates Kawhi because RoboCop from Akron has the boys pushing RoboCop. Okay. Curry or Harden. Curry. Spread the off. Okay. Let me see what else. Okay. So I think I've pretty much answered. Okay. Depends on who's playing. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. So I think I've pretty much answered you guys' questions. I think I've answered some. I think there's some questions that I missed. So, okay, listen, guys. So, as I said, if you guys had any questions that I missed, make sure you leave them on the channel. Once the video has been posted, make sure you guys do that so I can see that there. I think I've answered everything. But listen, these Brooklyn Nets fans, Brooklyn needs to start playing some better defense. Brooklyn needs to start playing some better defense. So that's something we got to look out for. Anyway, do you think the Miami Heat can fire it up in the playoffs? Well, they've shown the ability to do so. Eric Spoelstra is a championship coach. The Miami Heat have probably the most regimented kind of a program in the NBA with them down there in Miami. Jimmy Butler loves it. It seems like it's a school of the hard knocks. I don't think the Miami Heat is a team for just everybody. Y'all remember when Shaq tried to pull rank on Pat Riley got his butt up out of there. Shaq said it. They're no nonsense organization, right? So the Miami Heat are tough. They compete. And they compete every single night. So Miami's always a part. I think the Miami Heat, all they need is one more superstar. The Miami Heat get like a big name player, like a KD, Kawhi, these type of players, Kyrie Irving. That level of player, I think they become very, very tough to beat in the Western Conference. Do you think Kawhi can win MVP or defensive player this year? Hell no, I don't think so. I think Kawhi can only win a Finals MVP. You should. Ticket TV they collab. They be okay. I missed that. Would you rank Kawhi all time? Okay, I answered that one yesterday. Do you think Kawhi can win an MVP or Defensive Player of the Year? Nah, not now. Okay, so I think I've answered. As many questions as I can. So anyway, so thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. We try to get as many people in here. We got 200 plus people in here. I'm sure we're going to miss a lot of people when we publish the video. A lot of people are going to say, "Man, why didn't you wait for us?" So we did our best today. Hopefully we got enough of you guys in here. So be on the lookout for the channel tomorrow. We got some content coming out tomorrow. Thank you guys again. I think I've answered as many questions as I could. Do you think the Clippers are our only hope to beat the Lakers? The Clippers are good, man. The Clippers are good, but there are also some good teams in the West. Who will guard AD? Who will guard? I think they got to guard him by committee. I don't think it's one person. It's like who will guard Nikola Jokic? It's not one person. You need to play great team defense on him, but you need size. You need size, you need length, you need physicality, right? You need size. Size matters in the NBA. Size matters in the NBA. So they definitely do need that. Okay, so I think I've answered everybody. I think I've answered as many questions as I can. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for this for the live. Thank you guys for joining us. We got a good amount of people on here on a Sunday. I know some of you guys are busy. So thank you so much on that, man. I'll definitely catch you guys later. Tori, I'll see you. Take it easy, man. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.